What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian Colon from House of Wrestling. This is my review for Wrestlemania 38 Night 2. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Tonight was, it wasn't like Night 1, where you had the Cody Rhodes return, the Bianca Belair match, and Charlotte Flair match. Like, just the match quality wasn't what it was in Night 1, nor was the energy. Tonight, Night 2 felt more on the, heavily on the sports entertainment side. We'll get into it and everything. But other than that, I mean, it started off being really cool and interesting and really engaging, and then towards the end, it just really, it felt like a Raw. Honestly, it felt like a Monday Night Raw episode that was at WrestleMania. It started off with Triple H giving a promo. He came out. It was really cool to see Triple H come out to the crowd. He came out to, I believe it was the King of Kings thing that he came out to. But no, it was really cool to see him come out, just, be amongst the fans and everything, especially with everything that came out as far as his health and, with his heart condition and everything. But he came out, he thanked everyone. He did the "Welcome to WrestleMania." Fireworks went off. He left the ring and he left his boots in the ring. Kind of interesting considering that Cody Rhodes did something similar in AEW and when Malachi Black, that whole thing. But he hugged a few people at ringside. I guess they were family and friends and everything. It was kind of bittersweet because it was, Triple H usually had the biggest reaction because a lot of people loved his entrance themes. But man, he looked good and everything. He thanked the crowd. That was a really cool way to start the Night 2 of WrestleMania. It was like, okay, this is gonna be good. Then after that, we had the match between RKBro, Street Profits, and Alpha Academy. This was a really good match. It was a strong match. Of course, on WrestleMania, people are going to do crazy things. The one thing that sticks out, one of the many things that sticks out from this match, is Montez Ford jumping over the turnbuckle and onto pretty much everyone that's outside the ring. Like, he got some up. Man, that dude has some ups. Man, he's got some springs. He could jump. Man, that frog splash he does is amazing. But man, a few things that stuck out in this match was the dive that Montez Ford did. There's a sweet moonsault that I believe he did it. There was a double DDT by the Street Profits, which was awesome. There was a bulldog from the top rope that what was it? The Alpha Academy performed, and it was kind of like a callback to the Steiners. Then you had the blockbuster that Montez Ford did, where Angelo Dawkins, I believe he had to be Chad Gable. Yeah, he had Chad Gable on his shoulder, and Montez Ford, like, the height that he gets doing the frog splash, but he did it where he was doing the blockbuster going down. That was sweet. But yeah, this match, I mean, this was a really good match to start off the show. Again, you had the different style contrast. You did have a similar, I mean, I would love to see a triple threat match between Matt Riddle, Chad Gable, and Montez Ford. That would be dope if they ever did that. Those guys, I believe they could tell a really good story and have a really good wrestling match. But yeah, this was really good. It did end with, what was it? The 2 RKOs. That was sweet. The crowd erupted and everything. I mean, everyone's gonna erupt when Randy Orton does the RKO. I mean, he's been around since 2000. Man, Jesus, it's been 20 years. Man, where the time has gone. But they win. So they're in the ring, they're celebrating. The Street Profits come in and they pass cups and everything, and they're going to do a toast. And Chad Gable he's outside watching them, and they bring up Gable Stevenson, which it's going to be interesting how they utilize Gable Stevenson. So he's in the ring. They give him a cup. They're about to toast, and Gable Stevenson gets his cup smacked out of his hand by Chad Gable. Chad Gable, he's like, you're going to refer to me as, I'm your senior, you're a rookie, you're blah, blah, blah. And Gable Stevenson performs the sweetest and cleanest suplex. Man, that brought back memories of the Steiner brothers, man. That thing was sweet. And, oh, man. It made the belly-to-belly suplex that Ridge Holland did look freaking... It put it like... Gable Stevenson needs to teach Ridge Holland how to do a belly-to-belly suplex, because, man, that was sweet. From there, we get the match between Omos and Bobby Lashley. This match, I mean, Omos caught Lashley doing a dive on the top rope, and he smashed. I mean, it was like your typical big guy versus giant type match. I think I tweeted this, like, this match actually should have been on night 1, because, I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't, like, they should have had one of the women's matches on night 2, then have 2 women's matches on one night, but it just, I don't know, this match was okay. I'm glad they had, like, the second match, but Bobby Lashley won with a spear. It's pretty much the match. I mean, honestly, it just wasn't all that. It wasn't that both these guys, like, it was just bad or anything. It's like you go from a triple threat tag team match where you have Matt Riddle, Montez Ford, and Chad Gable to Omos and Lashley. And I understand the concept, you want to slow it down and slow things down, but I don't know. It just, maybe it's because Omos, they really haven't built him up where a feud with Bobby Lashley would, like, have more, you get more interested in it. Quite frankly, because Bobby Lashley only returned like 2 weeks ago. So it's like, okay, Bobby Lashley returns 2 weeks, and Omos, he's doing like, huh? What? It's like, as I always tweet, WWE is going to do WWE. That's just how it is. I'm not going to fight about it. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is so stupid. Like, yeah, a lot of things they do is stupid, but guess what? They're WWE. They've been doing some stuff that we do not agree with for 20 plus years. So it is what it is. From there, we get the Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville match. I will say that this match was probably the most silly, fun, entertaining, ridiculous match on both nights of WrestleMania. This was fun, and I like the fact that they utilize Johnny Knoxville being from Jackass, and they incorporated a lot of things from Jackass into the match, which made it like it. Honestly, thinking about it, like, this was actually one of WWE's most logical matches that they did, where it's like, hey, this guy's on Jackasses, and they have all these gadgets and instruments that they do all these, stunts. Why don't we incorporate it in our thing? Brilliant. It made sense. Let's see. They had a garbage can full of weapons. They had a cookie sheet. They had a crutch. There was a table of mousetraps. Party Boy made an appearance and stripped and ran around with a thong and butt cheeks out. I was like, okay. But that was actually funny because he was actually dancing on Sami Zayn and then got thrown out the ring. You had Wee Man come out from under the ring. He freaking beat the hell out of Sami Zayn and he body slammed him, which was funny. Then you had, what was it? You had a pyro while Sami Zayn was on the top rope attempting to do a splash, and like you see Johnny Knoxville lift his hand up and he has like a remote and just psst, and it's almost like Inspector Gadget. It was funny, man. So Sami Zayn gets hit by the pyro, he falls over. he's in that corner, and then I don't know where Johnny Knoxville got it, but like he brings out this bowling ball and he just bowls the bowling ball right into like Sami Zayn's nuts. He's like, oh, and it's funny because I did tweet. I'm like, I guarantee you, someone is going to get hit in the balls in this match. I mean, it's a jackass like trope. Like somebody's gonna get hit in the balls. Then you had Sami. He went through the table of mouse traps. And then they brought out like this giant mouse trap. And they somehow, I believe Johnny Knoxville, I forgot what move he did. Maybe a drop kick or a body slam or something. And they had this thing rigged like a like where the cheese would usually be in a mousetrap. Sami Zayn was there, and Johnny Knoxville lifts this like freaking lever, and then it hits him, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. So Sami Zayn loses to Johnny Knoxville. That was pretty cool. From there, we get the Sasha Banks Naomi versus Selena Vega, Carmella versus Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler and Natalya. Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. This was cool. Shout out to Sasha Banks and Naomi. They pulled up their entrance. They drove a Lamborghini on the ramp. That was dope and that was sweet. It fit them and everything. Cool spots about this match was there was a double dive through the ropes while everybody was out from Liv Morgan and Sasha Banks. There was a nice Hurricane Rana by Carmella on Rhea Ripley on the top rope. One issue I had with this match, and I tweeted this, and one of my colleagues, Kyle Means, he brought it up. He's like, man, well, psychology, and it wasn't so much psychology, it was the fact that there was a spot where Shayna Baszler stomped on Liv Morgan's ankle, and she's limping. And mind you, it's a fatal 4-way, and she stomped on it like it was really believable. Like, damn, she like messed up her ankle. And mind you, it's a fatal 4-way, and anybody can tag anybody, and everybody's just fighting everything. And I'm watching, I'm like, wait a minute, why doesn't anyone go after Liv Morgan and attack her other ankle? Like, if you attack her other ankle, she's not going to be able to move around, and she's going to be easier to pin because she's going to be in so much pain. And I'm like, how do they not, like, what the heck? Like, it's right there. And by the end of the match, she wasn't even, like, you didn't tell that her ankle was affected or anything because she was walking on it and everything. So it is what it is. But, yeah, it was a really good match. I wish it would have been a tornado tag match instead of a fatal 4-way because it was just boom, 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 everyone's out and all that. And I think that's a common theme in all of professional wrestling, that tag matches just get very chaotic. I wish they go back to the style in the late 80s, early 90s where just stay in the fucking ropes. Like, quit, like you're freaking, you got ants in your pants and you're, I gotta move around. The match ended really cool. Sasha Banks and Naomi did, like, it was a combination of both moves that they did on Carmella, 1, 2, 3, and Sasha Banks and Naomi are the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. This is pretty cool. This is dope. It's going to be interesting how they go forward with this, what tag teams are going to develop. Of course, the Raw after Mania is going to be an interesting. I'll get to that later in this video, but yeah, Sasha Banks and Naomi are the new Women's Tag Team Champions. From there, we get Edge versus AJ Styles. Edge had a badass theme, and he had a badass entrance. It was almost like a combination of like the Undertaker and the Brood, and yet he had the color scheme of like the Dark Order. So it was like kind of like that combination of things, but it was really cool because there was like flames, and he just comes up on this throne, and he's in all black, and he just walks through, and it's like, ooh, this is interesting. It's like, okay. And unfortunately, AJ Styles, it was weird because when he got in the ring, he had like he was bleeding. It's like, man, what the hell happened to him and everything. And if you go and watch it back, during AJ Styles' intro, I believe one of the pyros like went by his face. So that's what Cutman was like. Oh man, that sucked. But yeah, this was like this was an early 2000 Styles match. Like this was very methodical. I liked it because it was well placed, the spots and everything. So it wasn't. I mean, it made sense because it was like you have two veterans that are wrestling. You know, they're not going to be flying all over the place and everything. It's going to be okay. Let me maneuver. You know, if the guy's in the turnbuckle, okay, let me try to work on him. Use the turnbuckle at my advantage. You know, if he's on the floor, let me try to get him an advantage. If he's on the outside, it was really good. I really liked that. There was a spot where, what was it? The calf crusher that AJ Styles attempted on. There was a lot of like near falls in this match. There was a reversal from, was it Edge in the power bomb? There was a suplex on the ring apron by AJ Styles. That looked crazy. It looked like he was going to like hit him on the ropes, and he just right on the ring. I was like, ooh. And you know, the ring apron is the hardest part of the ring. Then, bear with me, my throat's dry. Let me get some water, man. Then after that, Edge tried to attempt the spear, and AJ Styles countered it into a Styles Clash. He kicked out of that, and then like this is where I would say like WrestleMania just got really like it went into bizarro sports entertainment world. So mind you, this is a really decent match, really good match. I wouldn't say decent, like it was a really good match. And then AJ Styles is attempting, you know, Edge is on the floor and AJ Styles looking at him. He's about to do a move, and then the camera gets a shot of Damian Priest randomly appearing. Like, okay. And of course, a lot of people were familiar with the reports that Edge is about to form a new faction. Damian Priest is one of the guys that was mentioned. There's a few other names. So Damian Priest is in, like, he has his beard, like a 5 o'clock shadow. He has purple and black vest and tights, and he's just standing there. And AJ Styles is like kind of distracted by it, and he's about to do the phenomenal elbow, and he jumps and attempts to do the phenomenal elbow, and Edge spears him, pins him 1, 2, 3. That's the end of the match. Then you get Edge and Damian Priest looking at each other. Edge gets in, or Damian Priest gets in the ring, and he's staring at Edge while they're on one knee, and then they just start laughing. Then they go side by side, they raise their hands, and then Edge leaves out with Damian Priest. Again, WWE's gonna do WWE. It was very random. In spite of the speculation, you know, you just like some like logic, like something that would make sense why he would join them. You know, of course, I know many people are going to say like, oh, well, you know, they're explaining it on Raw, but you shouldn't have to do that. Like, it's storytelling. Like, some of the best swerves, whether it's in wrestling or movies or comic, whatever, like when the swerve happens, you're like, oh, now it makes, like, I knew this guy because he did this. You know, of course, Damian Priest has been kind of like, you know, good and evil, like this kind of split personality, but Edge was nowhere involved in that, so it doesn't really make sense why he would join Edge. Now you have to go the extra mile of explaining it, when if you would have done it through actions and through different things where maybe, you know, Edge was somewhat involved or something like that, where it's just like, oh, okay, now it makes sense why he's with Edge. But it is what it is. That's WrestleMania. From there, we get a New Day versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus match. Shout out to New Day. They were wearing their gear in tribute to Big E. And this sucks because the match only lasted 2 minutes. Ridge Holland and Sheamus wins. I don't know. They cut their match from yesterday and added it today, and like, it didn't make sense. Like it should have been longer than what it was. And unfortunately, the segment that was pretty cool but just went overkill was the next match, which was Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee. Man, shout out to Pat McAfee. That dude did an amazing job. Now, this match was really, like, the timing was good. It was really good. It was fun. There was a spot where Pat McAfee did a Hurricane Rana. He did a suplex counter on the top rope where he did a moonsault, got back on the ring, and then turned into a suplex, which is freaking crazy. What was it? Austin Theory got knocked on the announcer's table. There was a spot where Pat McAfee was on a headset talking crap to Austin Theory and just beating the hell out of him and threw him in the ring. That was pretty fun. Austin Theory attempted to do a Swanton Bomb and missed. There was a nice, no, I mentioned that. There was a counter to Austin Theory's finishing move, the A-Town Down. And that's what led to Pat McAfee winning. The match, the timing of the match was perfect. It was this stuff afterwards that dragged. Like, this went on long. It like I said, after Damian Priest and Edge aligned, like, this show like just went into bizarro sports entertainment world, because you had Vince McMahon like pretty much chastising Austin Theory, and then Pat McAfee's looking at Vince and he's like, come on. And mind you, Austin Theory and Pat McAfee was just handling Austin Theory. So what winds up happening, Vince McMahon keeps looking at Pat McAfee, takes off he's teasing it, he's going to take his jacket off, and then he takes his jacket off, and he takes his shirt off, and then he gets in the ring. Then he has a match with Pat McAfee, and 76-year-old Vince McMahon manhandles Pat McAfee. I don't get that. Pat McAfee manhandled Austin Theory, but can't handle 76-year-old Vince McMahon, who, if you watched it, he's mobile, but like, he's not what he was like 15 years ago, where it's like, oh shit, Vince is like crazy. Like, you can tell, like, Vince is showing his age. Like that really didn't make sense, and it was super long. Like, that whole thing just took too long, and then afterwards, there was a beatdown from Vince McMahon and Austin Theory that took even, like, it was just as long, and then Stone Cold comes out. Like, they took all that time from the end of the Austin Theory Vince McMahon match to Austin Theory and Vince McMahon beating down Pat McAfee, and then Austin coming out. Like, that was easily, I want to say, maybe 5 to 7 minutes that could have been cut down to maybe 2.5 minutes, where Austin comes out and then boom, he does his thing. Austin beat the hell out of everybody. He stunned Austin Theory. Then he has shares a beer with Vince McMahon. He gives Vince McMahon that stunner was horrible. Like, I tweeted, it looked like Stone Cold stunned a Hollywood or Halloween skeleton ornament that you hang out in front of your house. Like, it just, like, that was just bad. Like, that was horrible. That was one of the worst stunners ever. And then Pat McAfee gets in the ring. They start celebrating, and then Stone Cold stuns Pat McAfee. That segment went too long. They could have added at least maybe the 5 minutes that they had with this segment. They could have gave New Day and Sheamus and Ridge Holland, which would have been 7 minutes, which would have made it a little bit easier, but it is what it is. WWE's going to do what WWE does. Again, this felt like a Raw. This is why I said, like, it felt like a Raw on WrestleMania because like they're celebrating Stone Cold celebrating. Again, it makes sense. You want Stone Cold to celebrate and everything. But it was weird because it was like, okay, usually this is something that happens at the end of a Monday Night Raw. And of course, it wasn't because you had Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns right after, which was like, it just really weird. It was like, oh, we're celebrating Stone Cold. We're happy. You know, it's good. But yeah, we got to end this short cleanup. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns got to come out. So then we go to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I'm just going to say Roman Reigns beat Brock Lesnar. This was a back and forth match, a lot of power moves. Basically, once it got to the point where Lesnar was countering the Superman punch with suplexes, he did like 4. He countered an F5 and turned into, flipped him to a turnbuckle, which was it? Yeah, Roman Reigns, you know, he punched Lesnar. Was it Brock Lesnar? He countered a spear to an F5 on Roman. Almost got the 3 count. Roman speared Lesnar to the ref in the turnbuckle. Then he hit Lesnar with the belt. Almost got the 3 count. Then Roman Reigns speared Lesnar. Well, he attempted to spear Lesnar, which Lesnar countered into a Kimura lock. Had to kick out because Roman eventually got to... There was a great shot. I do give them credit. There was a great shot where Roman Reigns was in the Kimura lock and he's reaching for the rope. And you're seeing it, it's like, ooh, that's good. That's good storytelling. That's good visual storytelling. Like, ooh, that's so good. Then once Lesnar releases and everything, Roman winds up spearing Lesnar. Actually, no. Roman got caught in an F5 and he countered it and he speared Lesnar. And 1, 2, 3. That's the match. And that was night 2 of WrestleMania. It wasn't like night 1. Yeah, it started off strong, and then once you got to the Edge, Damian Priest stuff, it just went into a weird sports entertainment, bizarro world. I know the fans are happy. I know I got a few colleagues that went down there. They were, you know, ball, but yeah, it wasn't like night 1 as it was last year and the year before. I don't know. It's going to be interesting where WWE goes forward, and it's going to be interesting where pro wrestling goes because, you know, Cody Rhodes is going to be on Monday Night Raw. That's going to be interesting. That's going to get a lot of ratings. I'm interested in what's going to happen on AEW Dynamite. What I've been paying attention to ever since Friday is we haven't seen Tony Khan tweeting anything. So that's very interesting. That's why I'm interested in AEW Dynamite. But yeah, overall, this WrestleMania, again, the key thing that Austin, that Vince McMahon wrestling Pat McAfee after the match, like, that could have been cut like maybe 5 minutes. You could have gave it to New Day and, you know, just them honoring Big E. And it's weird, before the injury that Big E suffered, maybe it's just me, but it just feels like it might be time for the New Day to move on elsewhere, because it doesn't... The reason why I say that, and it's not, oh, they're going to go to AEW. It's like, no, it just feels like WWE isn't giving them the attention that they gave them before. Like, they're not pushing them strong. Like Big E, you know, this whole situation with the world title, and they gave it to Lesnar, and then it just doesn't feel like it always, in the last, ever since New Day and the Usos have, you know, been rivals, like they've always booked them strong, like equals. Now it just feels like the Usos, because they're with Roman, are just higher and stronger than New Day, and New Day just doesn't feel, and that's bad because Big E is a former world champion and you're booking them like they're weak. But, you know, it is what it is. But
Yeah, if I could summarize this WrestleMania, I don't know it I would say this exemplifies the good bad relationship that WWE has with their fans as far as their creative process. Um, Night one just hit on all cylinders. Night two just literally like it felt like a complete contrast of night one. And you know, Roman's the champ. Let's see where it goes. You got Cody Rhodes, a fresh, hot, um, big star that they've presented. Um, the question is, are they going to hotshot Roman and Cody Rhodes? I know right now in the moment people are like, no, but also you got to keep in mind that they're going to have Money in the Bank at, was it Allegiant Stadium? The Raiders Stadium. They're not going to have it at SummerSlam, so that's something to keep an eye on. If they want something big to happen there, that's probably what's going to happen. And, you know, it might be Cody Rhodes winning the Money in the Bank and then cashing it in and beating Roman Reigns and then losing to that SummerSlam. Might happen, but yeah, yeah, WrestleMania Night 2. It I don't know what to say, man. It's a lot of the stuff that happened was kind of predictable. That's what I could say. WrestleMania Night 2 was somewhat predictable. It was entertaining, but it was just predictable. It wasn't anything special. Outside of the Pat McAfee performance, which is freaking amazing. But yeah, it is what it is. So see what happens on Monday Night Raw, and not only Raw and WWE, but in the world of professional wrestling as we go into spring and summer, and it's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. But yeah, this is my review for WrestleMania 38 Night 2. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Like I always say, stop fighting over wrestling. Let's enjoy it. This has been a wonderful weekend. A lot of wrestling with WWE and the other promotions. We got a busy week ahead and a lot of fun stuff happening in the world of professional wrestling. Stop fighting, all right? With that,